Yes, this young lady right here, yeah. The rapper.
Yes. So the question I have is related to parenting. How do you balance not, I don't know, having like my will override his, and at the same time give him the skill, the ability so he can eventually move out of the house?
Die from your ego so that God can work through you instead of you trying to force him to be a certain way. The way you think you want him to be, he would never become the way you think he should be. So, but if you love what's right with all your heart, soul, and might, you don't have that anger, he will work through you to raise your child. Because we don't raise children, it's God who raised them. We can't make a boy become a man or a girl become a woman. It's the Spirit that guides us that does that. We don't do that. All right? So drop the anger and then live right, do the right thing. And he would pattern after you. He would become a moral man. That makes sense? But
Yeah.
don't try to force him to be what you want him to be. That's the problem now. A lot of the mothers are trying to force their kids to be the way she wants them to be, and then they turn out being screwed up because they'll fight. They know that's wrong. The kids know it's wrong, so they try to fight against it. And then they become angry. That's when they lose.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to impose ourselves upon anyone. We're supposed to just be. That's why you have to return to the Father. What are you thinking?
Just like I get what you're saying, makes sense, but then I think about in the moment in that day, like one of the things, like for example, turning in homeworks on time. Whether it's a public school, private school, or no school, I think it's just the act of building character, is being able to, in a job, they're going to expect you to deliver, and if you can be on time, that's an amazing ability to have.
Right.
And so when I see or witness as a parent that my son is behaving in a way where he's not turning in the assignments on time, I know that that is a characteristic that could lead him down, just poor jobs, poor choices
Yeah.
in life. So from a parent perspective, like, I just want to shake him and be like, turn everything on time. But,
Amazing.
But I want it, I don't know, it's that balance where I want him to have that discovery for himself without it being me telling him, hey, you need to turn your assignments on time. I like for him to know in his heart that turning in assignments on time is a good thing to do.
Number one, you should be that example. And number two, if you have a problem with him, let his father know, and his father will deal with it. Because the real power is in the father, not in the mother. That's where the mothers try to use their will to make things happen.
Yeah.
Where fathers just say, hey, boy, you better do that homework. It's done.
Yeah, it's
He's like, oh, yeah, you're going to do it.
And actually, I've changed something drastically in my household, and because for the longest time we've been challenged with just just things not following through, and then I realized I'm the decision maker. Like when he's like, "Oh, can I have my phone?" I say yes, or he has opportunity to negotiate with me, and I realize I'm a beta woman and I have emotions, and of course I'm gonna say yes. So I said, I no longer am authority. You got to ask your dad for everything, and now he has to ask his father for everything. And I'm very good at following through whatever orders. I'm actually really good at taking orders. So like whatever his dad says is what I do. And if he wants me to change it, it's like you need to negotiate that with your dad. And and my life has gotten so much more peaceful. Like I don't have that anger as much. So I am able to handle it a little, but I do find myself.
Let the father handle it. He'll be fine.
Okay, good.
All right. Kids know how, what I know about kids, they know how to manipulate the mothers, and they know how to manipulate fathers who have the mother's nature. They know how to do it. They read you. It's like they can tell what to do to make you give them or let them do what they want. It's so weird. But with a real father, a real man who is not a woman, they can't do it.
Yeah, he can't.
And then they end up appreciating, in the long run, they appreciate that their father led them in the right way to go. So let the father handle it. Make sure you let him know that if they don't do it, I'm going to let your father know. All right? And as soon as the father get home, let him handle it.
Okay.
But when the father leaves, don't say, "Oh, you don't have to do it."
No, I don't.
Tell your daddy he's so mean.
No, I've
Don't feel sorry for him.
No, I don't. Like I said, I'm really good with following orders because now his dad can say no in a second. For me, like it's hard for me to say no, and I know that, and so I recognize I'm weak. and that's not my role
Yeah.
to have that position to. say
That's
yes.
right. Boys and girls know how to manipulate their mothers. That's why even at 3 years old, you should really turn them over to the father, because they no longer need that mother's love, that kind of stuff. They really need a perfect father to just guide them in the right way to go and correct them when they're wrong, because the father will not be emotional about it. All right, so good.
Thank you.
Yeah.